Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. This will be the fifth video I have done on the South Carolina church shooting. I'm trying to keep up with the mainstream media. In a previous post on this, I already mentioned that the phrase race war has a gematria of 33, a number that's coded into all of these shooting hoaxes. And this post from CNN is about how the boy, Dylann Stormroof, the most ridiculous shooter name in the history of shooter names, says he wanted to start a race war. This word that is very much coded. And look at what time CNN posted their article, 3:03 p.m. And like I said, race war has a gematria of 33, which I will show. And just to add insult to injury, they have another little video down here, and look how long it is, 33 seconds. And for anyone watching this going, you got to be kidding me, give me a break. No, I won't give you a break. Go watch the 500 plus videos I've made, and I will show you how many times I have documented this occurrence by our mainstream media. This is really what these sick bastards do. The numbers are as important as the words. It's all part of the mind control, the programming that this agenda-driven media is about. Also, Truth Seeker, we're going to cover this in this post. The woman named Debbie Dills, who caught him on Route 74, a number I've been talking about very much. We'll watch these news stories, we'll decode. Let's just jump in and watch the mainstream media coverage, see what kind of information they present us with. Here we go. This is the race war. Notice in this CNN article about how the boy is to blame for the race war instead of the media that for decades has been giving us provoking stories about race. They blame it on the boy when really it's the media that wants a race war. Let me take you back to the 90s when Rodney King was beat on March 3rd, 3-3, by the LAPD. L plus A plus P plus D sums to 33, just like the word police with Pythagorean gematria. All throughout the years, all the stories you've ever heard in the mainstream media about black on white are all coded with 33. The first big one in the Obama administration was the Trayvon Martin story. T is the 20th letter, M is the 13th. T plus M is 33. His shooter, George Zimmerman, G is the 7th letter, Z is the 26th. G plus Z is 33. What day was Trayvon Martin buried? March 3rd, the Rodney King beating. And I could go through and I could tell you about every single other one and how these numbers are coded, or you can just watch my videos. But anyway, the media is very detailed in their race war. Look at who's standing on each shoulder of this boy. A white person and a black person. This is just all part of how the charade is done. The news is no different than the media. It's ran by the Zionist Jews. That's why the news looks like B-rated movies lately. Here we go.
I would never talk to her ever again. I would never be able to hold her again. But I forgive you. And have mercy on your soul. You hurt me. You hurt a lot of people. But God forgive me.
And anyway, what kind of bullshit is this? Anybody who's been to jail knows he's in a holding cell right here. He's in a holding cell. There's two guards just standing behind him for no reason, and then we have a voiceover of a woman. What is she talking to him in a holding cell? This is just all part of the mindfuck programming they give us. Crisis actor talking over a stage scene.
And I forgive you.
I forgive you and my family forgive you. But we would like you to take this opportunity to repent. Repent. Confess. Give your life to the one who matters the most, Christ, so that he can change it, can change your ways no matter what happened to you, and you'll be okay. Do that.
Truth Seeker, don't kid yourself about the time this is happening at 2:27 p.m. This is another number that is coded oh so much. If you divide 22 by 7, you're left with the number pi, which has to do with cycles and circles. And the media, they run on cycles and circles of propaganda. Every single shooting story you've ever heard is a lie. Yes, people shoot each other in this nation. Yes, there is much racism. Yes, there is much hatred. But the stories that they give us in the media are always fake and agenda-driven.
Can you be better off than what you are right now?
We welcome you.
Wednesday night in our Bible study with open arms. You have killed some of the most beautifulest people that I know. Every fiber in my body hurts, and I'll never be the same. Tawanza Sanders is my son, but Tawanza was my hero. Tawanza was my hero. But as we said in Bible study, we enjoyed you, but may God have mercy on you.
All right, so that was our race war news footage. We'll decode more of that in just a second. Let's now watch the story of Debbie Dills, a complete hoax. These are the real criminals right here, Truth Seeker. These are the people you should really be mad at. The crisis actors who keep going before us and lying. Debbie Dills, what a fucking ridiculous name. I'll tell you more about that.
Let me just say right off that I think you guys are heroes, and I think most people will agree with me. But
I mean, how sick to hear a media stooge, liar, piece of shit like Don Lemon go, "You actors are heroes for spreading the lies and the hatred and damaging everyone's psychological well-being who was fooled by this hoax." No, these people are fucking villains, not heroes.
Debbie, can you explain to me, you're on your way to work. What happened?
I was just on my way to work, taking my normal route.
Nervous itch. See, it's like nobody in this nation recognizes anything about body language, facial expression. It's just a nation of fucking retards, which I've known since I was 18 years old when September 11th happened. You're listening to the voice of somebody who's never been fooled by any of the hoaxes in this nation, and all I've grown to see is that I live in a nation of fucking retards who can't put two and two together. Let's just watch this woman itch and scratch and lie away. Here we go.
To work on Highway 74 coming into Kings Mountain, and just on my way to work, and I had heard the news about the shootings in Charleston last night when I left church myself, and I had a lot of it on my mind, and I had really been praying for the people, and I was praying for them actually when I seen the car, and I had watched a lot of news coverage about the shootings and stuff, and I had seen the pictures of the car, and I seen the pictures of the young man. I had seen all that, and as I was coming to work, I don't normally pay a lot of attention. I'm not the most observant person in the world, and I seen the car, and I didn't know what drew my attention to the car, and I seen that it was black, and then I also seen that it had a South Carolina license plate on it, which kind of made me look again. But then in my mind I'm thinking, no, that's not, that can't be. Not at that time.
Think about this, Truth Seeker. This lying piece of shit on TV, she's probably going to make more money than anybody watching this will make all year just for getting in front of the camera and lying about this shit. So we got to tear this system down. It's here to enslave us.
It's just kind of maybe a little jitter, nervous, thinking about everything that had been going on. So just the fact that, it was similar to what I had seen on TV, but I never dreamed that it would be the car.
But you thought it might be him. So did you pick up the phone, and what happened? How did you and Todd connect? Did you pick up the phone and call him and say, "Oh my gosh, Todd, what did she say to you?"
Well, when she called, she said, I think of this as a guy from Charleston that shot the people. She said, I'm right beside him, and so I told her, I said, well, where are you at? And so she had pulled off by then, and I said, well, we got to call the police. I said, to notify them that, that it may be him. And of course, our conversation later, it may not be him, and she didn't want to, cause problem for somebody that it wasn't them. I said, but it could be. So we, called the police immediately while she was on the phone, and she got back on 74, headed to catch up with him, because she'd already, he'd probably
on 74, that number. Just wait till you see when we decode, Truth Seeker.
traveled 4 or 5 miles before she could catch up with him, and police stayed with us.
So you
the whole
told her
time,
to go back go back to make sure it was.
By the way, I just want to mention that his name sums to 43. I didn't decode his name. It equals 43, just like the name Pinkney, just like the date the shooter was born on, April 3rd, 4-3, the 93rd day of the year. Here we go.
It was him, and you made her follow, but you said don't get alongside of him, as I understand. And so, Debbie, you were trailing him, trying to get a license plate, trying to get a look at him. What?
Well, he didn't make me follow him. He just said, I told him I didn't know what to do. I told him after I got off of the business exit, I told him that I was going to go back out onto 74, and that's when he called the police. I was going to go back out onto 74 and see if I could catch up with him and at least get a tag number, because I mean there was just something inside of me that said it just didn't look right to me. I had seen the little tag on the front of his car, and everything was just, kind of, and I even noticed the haircut that he had from watching it on the news. So everything inside of me said it's possible, but everything inside of me didn't want to believe it either. So no, he didn't make me do that.
I suggested
he just, I said, I'm going to go do that. And then I said, but he stayed on the phone with me, and he stayed on the phone with the Kings Mountain Police while I did that.
So you finally got the license number. He's on the phone with police. He's also on the phone with you. And you finally get the license plate number and the description and all of that. And then police, I guess, realize that this is the guy because of your help. How long did it take the police to get there and resolve all of this and get him?
Oh, they were right there within seconds. I mean, I was right behind him at a stoplight, and I was very nervous. I will say that. I was nervous, but I was able to get his tag number and write down the tag number. So all within like maybe 10, 15 minutes. I mean, they were Johnny on the spot, the Kings Mountain Police and the Shelby City Police, they were there.
Notice this story is wrapping up at 7:22 again. 22 divided by 7, pi. All right, Truth Seeker. So we were just listening to the liar, Debbie Dills, a horrible liar indeed. Would you believe that her name sums to 47, the reflection of 74? It's just a fucking joke, Truth Seeker. I get so sick of decoding this stuff over and over and watching all the fucking morons come into these video posts and go, you got to be kidding me with the numbers. It just shows you how it is in this nation. You can give people the absolute truth, deliver it right to their face, and they're too fucking retarded to see it, which is what I've noticed since I was 18, which is why for the better part of my 20s, I just gave up and said, fuck it, I live in a circus of morons. But things are getting so bad these days, people have to speak out. People such as myself who know the truth. So Debbie Dills, old 47, spots him on Route 74 when everything about this story is 74. And also look at her initials, DD, the fourth letter. The word kill has a gematria of 44. This story is very much about killing. In the article, it says she's a 51-year-old woman. The word conspiracy equals 51. So does Freemason with the S exception. Very important number, 51. So she spotted him in Kings Mountain. Kings is a word with 33 gematria. Kings Mountain, Pythagorean gematria, sums to 59, like the word kill in Jewish gematria, like a number that gets coded all over black people. And this incident is very much about killing black people. Birth control came out in the year 59, and that's not a coincidence, Truth Seeker. So did Motown Records. Motown Records, a good thing. Birth control, an agenda. In the article, see how it has this in quotes? I was very nervous, she said. I was very nervous sums to 74. What do you know? Just like all the key phrases in this story. And nervous is a 33 word, Truth Seeker. I think we humans are a nervous system, all of us. We're a broken up nervous system in dysfunction. Why are we all in dysfunction? Because we've been born into this world that's ran by the maddest fucking people to ever live. Zionist Masonic Jews. People who want to play God and make life a living hell for the rest of us. Anyway, she spotted him in Kings Mountain. He was arrested in Shelby, North Carolina. Shelby, North Carolina has this gematria of 93. Very important number. The word propaganda equals 93. It's the number of Thelema, about do what thou wilt. The shooter, Dylann, is born April 3rd, which is the 93rd day of the year. As I said in an earlier video, almost every famous black American you've ever heard of's name sums to 93, and the reason that is so is because they're all agents, they're all propaganda agents. The names I'm talking about are Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, and a whole lot more, Truth Seeker. All these people's names sum to 93, and if you're asking, well, what's wrong with those people? I said it before in the other video. All of those people preach the message of nonviolence. And you're not listening to someone who's violent or likes to hurt people. I'm a very nice, kind person, but I realize that violence can be a necessity, especially when we're ruled by a gang of people who are violent, who are deceitful, who are hateful, who are dishonest, and who are destroying all of our lives. The only solution for these people is for them to be destroyed. There needs to be a real war. There needs to be a real genocide of these people. That will take violence. Nonviolence will never do anything against these people, which is why we have been enslaved all this time. Think about Martin Luther King Jr.'s message from April 4th, 1967, a year to the day of his death. And that speech, it was called A Time to Break Silence. And he spoke about how silence is the biggest enemy of our time. And the longer we don't do anything about this world, the worse it will get. And now here we are, 48 years later, and things are much worse. But what Martin Luther King Jr. also said is that we had to be nonviolent. Well, nonviolence isn't going to do anything. Malcolm X said the same thing. Malcolm X, 93. Bob Marley, 93, had the same message. Message of Jesus, message of peace. So many 93 agents preaching that nonviolence. So anyway, Truth Seeker, there's another article about how the boy was drinking with his buddies, telling them how he wanted to start a race war. Him by his 21-year-old self. Race war is a word with Pythagorean gematria. And if you go back and watch my video since I started this video blog, I've talked about how they code 33 into every single shooting hoax. Usually that's just done by the police, which is a 33 word. Why are the police a 33 word? Because they're ran, owned, and operated by the Zionist Freemasons. Highest degree of 33. And it's just sick to think about, Truth Seeker, that the media is blaming this race war on a 21-year-old when they have been purposefully bombarding us with the last year of black and white headlines. What a joke. The word blame also equals 33. 33-second video about how he wanted to start the race war. I already covered that. Alright, Truth Seeker, so again, with these 93s, he's born on the 93rd day, caught in a place with 93, propaganda's that 93 word. Out of all the deaths, the one most talked about is this guy, Clementa Pinckney, who went by the name Clem, a 33 name. But anyway, his name gematria is 43, kind of like the shooter's birthday. And as I always say, when you decode these stories, you see how all the pieces fit together like a puzzle. They're all made up with the same numbers. Notice how they say Dylann Stormroof, born April 3rd, 94, is 5'9". Again, 59 is the number coded all over black people. In Jewish gematria, it equals kill. Everything about this is a joke, Truth Seeker. For those of you who've said you've been following my work for a year and you agree with me on most things, but I'm wrong about this because people really got killed, I want to know how you guys know that people really got killed, because this looks like just all the other hoaxes. You know? It is possible that people really got killed, and if they did, it was still done by the numbers, it was still arranged, and these people were targeted for specific reasons. Perhaps there's a reason they wanted to get rid of this Pinckney guy if he was really murdered. The gematria of kill, Truth Seeker. 59 in Jewish, 44 in simple English. Think about Martin Luther King Jr. getting assassinated April 4th. Think about the first president to ever die in office, William Henry Harrison. And think about Obama being the 44th president. Obama reopened Ford's Theater right after he was inaugurated, a theater that was reopened the year MLK was assassinated for the first time since the death of Lincoln. Think about it. All this stuff's part of a sick, well-organized joke. September 23rd could be Obama's day. We'll see yet. If you watch my very first video, before I realized everything was 74 because they hadn't released the name of the shooter, I noticed how Bible study class was standing out with its gematria of 47 and 74. Two of the most Christian numbers. Then we get Dylann Stormroof. Then we learn he shot on Calhoun Street, another 74 word. And then we figured out that it came 74 days after the Walter Scott shooting, also in Charleston, South Carolina. The word Masonic is 74. Jesus is 74. Cross is 74. Yeshua is 74. Messiah is 74. The English translation of Jesus, Joshua, is 74. I can't say it enough. So many of you, you let that message slip right in one ear and out the other. You don't put two and two together. You don't see how you live in a world that's about divide and conquer, and you want to believe in this mythical figure from 2,000 years ago that's someday going to show up and save us all. What a fucking joke. Muhammad, Jesus, it's the same thing. Masonic creation's meant to divide and conquer as it has. Also, if you didn't see my video, Morris Brown is the founder of the church where it happened. His name sums to 74. The founder of the church where this shooting was. Clementa C. Pinckney sums to 74. Clementa C. Pinckney, 74. Are you starting to get who's really behind the race war, truth seeker? Here, I'll show you. It's the people who invented our language. In the United States, black people are called niggers, this hateful word. In South Africa, they're called kafir. Nigger and kafir have something in common, truth seeker. They have gematria that matches, 42. And you know, I was looking for the 42 in this shooting, and I've been overlooking it all this time. It's the number 9. The number 9 has a gematria of 42. There's 9 dead in this. The number 42 has been coded all over black Americans. One of the most easy examples is Jackie Robinson, first black baseball player to wear 42. Here's some more from history. Do you remember the king of Motown? I almost said Martin Luther King Jr. Marvin Gaye, the king of Motown. Marvin Gaye's birthday was April 2nd. He was shot and murdered the day before he turned 45. He was murdered on his last day, being 44 years old. His birthday was 4/2. Remember, Motown was established in 59. All these numbers coded on black people. I talked about Rodney King. The name Rodney King equals 59, born on April 2nd. During the Bush administration, there was the shooting of Sean Bell in New York. He was shot 42 times on a date with 42 numerology. Recently, there was the Freddie Gray shooting. The name Freddie equals 42, Gray equals 24, the reflection of 42. Everything about that story was 42. Before that, there was the Michael Brown shooting in Ferguson, Missouri. Michael's a 33 word. Ferguson and Missouri are both 42 words. His shooter, his name was 33, Darren Wilson. And Darren Wilson was shown in a Blues jersey with the number 42 on it. Blues equals 59. Number 42, hello. This stuff's no joke what I'm decoding. All you idiots who come in here and listen to this and then dismiss it, you're just simply fucking retarded. I don't know what else to say to you. This is so deliberate, so in our face, so disgusting, and you want to call me out and attack me? Pathetic. You're as bad as the media. You're a product of the media, I realize that. Even though I call you a fucking retard, I also sympathize with you. Since I was a little kid, I've seen how pathetic the people are around me. You have to realize I was always top of my class. I always recognized I lived in a sea of sheep from a young age. Incapable people, couldn't answer simple questions in elementary school, couldn't be coordinated enough to play sports on the field. I always felt like I was just growing up in this sea of dunces. And I was. Oh man, it's so bad. That's why they feed this pathetic drivel media to the mindless masses, and they keep sucking it up and shouting down the truth seeker. Here, I need to find my Malcolm X quote. Even though I say these people are agents, they weren't all bad. Malcolm X has this great quote, truth seeker. I gotta find it. It's on my blog. Bear with me. Here we go. Here you go. If you're not careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. And that's what every single one of my critics are. Every single one of my critics is what this quote is about. So if you're one of those people, it's time to wake the fuck up. I'm going to sign off at 156, just like the gematria of South Carolina, just like the gematria of Walter Scott, just like the gematria of God. Like I said, these sick incidents are all tributes to God by the Masons. Why? Because the Masons worship Satan. Oh yeah, and Malcolm X, his assassin, got 44-year prison sentence, just like Martin Luther King Jr. was shot on 4/4, April 4th. All right, until next time, Truth Seeker.